Hi guys, welcome back to the tying studio here. Today we're tying this little glass scud here, I call it. It is a Gammarus pattern. I don't know what you call it in your country. Feel free to write me in the comments down below to let me know what you call it in your country. It's not a difficult tie, and it just looks so deadly in the water, and it looks really good in the box as well. So let's have a look at the materials and then just get straight to the tying part. Alright, let's get straight to it here. Now the thread I'm using is Uni Mono, size 4. But you can use a white one if you want. That choice is entirely up to you. Sorry. Now advance your thread down to past the hook bend here. Right around here. And then tie your SCUD back in here. Just like this. Now take some round rubber rib here. Tie that in. All the way down to your tying point down there by the SCUD back. Get that nice and secure. Now take your dry fly feather here, or a flat wing, or whatever you want to call it. Tie that in down here as well. I don't worry too much about this excess right here. Just cut it off in the length of the hook. It will add to the volume of the fly. Like this. Onto some dubbing. And just dub a tiny dubbing body here. Now this is only to give the fly a bit of shine through the UV resin, so you don't need a whole lot, just enough to cover the thread wraps and all the other stuff here, like this, and then back up again. Like that. And then take your round rib here Get this a bit out of the way. Just get it going. This will add a really cool glowing, or I don't know how to put that, but a really cool effect under the UV resin and the shellback. Just tie that off up here. Careful not to cut your thread here. Like that. And take your feather, get that started. You might have to force it a bit to point the right way. Here we go. And just run it up through the fly here. Not completely touching turns, but almost. And this is just really a matter of taste, I guess. If you want it a bit bulkier, then place the turns closer to each other, and if you want it a bit less stressed, then just turn the feather with bigger distance between the wraps. I'll finish it off up here, just like that. And now take your dubbing brush and just give it a brush on the top here to separate the fibers a bit. Push them down like this. You don't want too many fibers to be here on the top, because it's where the SCUD back will be placed in a minute. And here's a little trick. I will use my tying thread because it is clear. I will use it as a rib, so I just run it roughly back through the feathers here. Again, you don't have to be super careful. You can pull these out afterwards, just like this, and get your little SCUD bag up here. Make the first turn. It's looking good, and then it's just to move it back up through the fly. Now it does look kind of messy at this point, but we will rectify that with the UV resin. Make a few extra wraps up here. flip this over. I got a few wraps on that as well. And trim off this excess if you have any. Now onto a whip finish. That's enough because the fly will be covered in UV resin. Cut off the thread. And now I'll just give the fly a comb through here to get out any trapped fibers. So I have to turn her a bit out of focus here to see what I'm doing. That's looking pretty good there. Onto your UV resin. God, this bottle is a mess. I'll just place a tiny bit here on the top of the fly and then take your dubbing needle or whatever you have lying around to distribute this around the top part of the fly. Like that, and just cure that up. Now I like to do this in layers because it makes it a bit easier to control the UV resin depending on how thin or how thick the resin you're using is, but I like it fairly thin, so it's easier for me to coat this over a couple of times. Now you might have to spin your vise around a bit like this to get it to set. I like when the Gammarus flies have a small lump up here in the front. So a way to do that is to tilt the hook in the vise. Let me just do that. So when you turn it this way upside down, the UV resin will naturally flow down to this point right around here. Get a bit more on here. That is looking good right there. Just let it hang a bit like this before you cure it up. So that was the fly for today. This little glass scud. I hope you dig it as much as I do. It's just a really cool looking little Gammarus. Hit the like button if you like this video, and please remember to subscribe to my channel while you're in here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.